Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. So let me start with the Module 4 topic. First chapter is about PHP Arrays and Superglobals. So in Module 4 there are totally 2 chapters to be discussed. In that the first chapter is about PHP Arrays and Superglobals. Now what is PHP Arrays? Yes, the name itself says that PHP Arrays. What do you mean by an array? Array is a collection of similar elements in a single variable. In the sense, array is a data structure which is used to store same kind of elements under a single variable name. Why the name says PHP Arrays? Yes, that indicates that PHP also supports arrays. So this is nothing special because all programming languages will support array. Is it right? Now how actually the PHP array is quite different from that of other programming languages means PHP array elements are associated with the keys. So that's why it is also named as ordered map. So let me show one example here. PHP array. Assume it has values in this way: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. All these values are strings, hence it is enclosed within a double quotes. All these values are associated with keys. So in this way, so index 0, 1, 2, 3. So I can call them as a keys or I can call them as a index. Okay, so this is what keys and this is values. So this is how in PHP arrays can be represented. Each values in the arrays are associated with the keys. Okay, now let me discuss in detail about these keys and values. In this example, keys are integers. Is it right? Yes, but in PHP, keys can be integers or strings. I think now you will get to know how actually PHP arrays are different from that of different programming languages arrays, since array keys can be integers or strings but not objects. You have to be clear with this concept. An array keys can be integers or strings but not objects. So talking about values of an array means it can be integers or strings or classes or objects. Anything it can be. Got to know? Values of an array can be integers or it can be strings or it can be classes or it can be objects. And one more point you have to be careful while dealing with keys of an array. I said you that it can be integers or strings. While dealing with integers, you may say that the key is 1.5. So this is invalid. You cannot give a key in this fashion. It should be a whole number. Okay, so this is all about how actually PHP arrays are represented using ordered map. Okay, next is how to define an array. That is how to defining array. Yes. You can define an array in this fashion. Consider one array variable, that is days, and array. So when you give an instruction in this fashion, finally an empty array has been defined. So which has no elements, simply it has been defined with no elements. Assume you want to give some initial values to an array means you can define in this fashion. For example, array Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Now what had happened? You are defining an array with 4 initial values which are strings, and where keys are not specified. So by that time, how actually array looks like? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. We have not specified explicitly a keys for an array. What happens? It begins with index 0, 1, 2 and 3. So this is what the keys for this array. Now, not only in this format, you can also use another syntax to define an array. How means days equals Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You can also declare an array in this format also. So that will also allocate a memory for an array in the similar manner. So next is about, there are many possibilities available to define an array. One among that is that, for example, days equals array. See here, I am specifying the index. First I will declare an empty array, then in the 0th index I am saying to initialize an element to this index. Likewise, days in the first index, Tuesday, in the next index, Wednesday. Can you observe carefully that you can use this syntax to define an array, or else you can go for using this syntax. There is another possibility, alternative, that is to declare in this fashion. So not only this approach, there is one more approach, that is, I will write here. First, declare an empty array. After that, I am not specifying any index here, simply I will pass the elements. See here, what had happened here? What is the difference between these two approaches? Here I have specified the index where actually the elements has to be stored, but here I am not specifying any index. How actually it works? This also works in the similar fashion. What happens here means, first you are declaring an empty array, then you are passing first element into the array without specifying the index. By that time, since it is an empty array, the first element given will be stored in the 0th index of an array. Likewise, next element in the next index, third element in the second index. In the similar fashion, all the elements get stored into the array. Now, so now you can notice that anywhere we are not specifying the size of an array, in the sense we are not restricting the size of an array. Hence, we can say that array can grow dynamically, or it can shrink its size dynamically. So, likewise, PHP arrays are quite different from that of other languages. Okay. So, now assume I want to print the content of an array. How to access? For example, I can say that echo value at index 1 is yes. If this is the case, what actually it outputs? Days. This is an array called days. Okay. So, what is the value present in index 1? Tuesday. So, the output is value at index 1 is Tuesday. This is how you can access the array elements. Just now have given an example how to access an individual elements of an array. Now, how to access all the elements of an array, that we have to think. Since array means it consists of more than one element, obviously we should make use of loops. So, let me illustrate by making use of three types of loops called while loop, do while loop and for loop, how actually the array elements can be accessed. So, let me start with the first one, while loop. Okay. So, loop means have to declare one looping variable while I have to give the condition I is set to 0. Since the array key, I can say alternatively either it can be key or it can be an index. Now 0, I is 0 less than, I do not know, since this is a dynamic array, its size varies, is it right? So, better to take a property count which counts the size of an array, which finds the length of an array. So, which array you need to specify. So, I is 0 now, count of this. So, what is the length of this array? 4, right? So, it is 4, 0 less than 4 true. What you have to do? It should be printed. So, echo. So, what do you want to print? The element in that array. So, days of I, then you want one break. So, give break. So, what it prints? It prints Monday. So, let me write here output, it prints Monday. Next, to print the next element of an array, I has to be incremented. So, I plus plus, yes, I gets incremented, now it is 1, 1 less than 4 true. What it prints? Arrays next element, that is Tuesday. So, better I will write here only, first Monday, now Tuesday. Now I gets incremented, it is now 2, 2 less than 4, yes. Next it prints the next element of an array, that is Wednesday. I gets incremented, it is now 3. 3 less than 4, yes. So it prints the next element of an array, that is Thursday. Now I gets incremented, it is now 4. 4 less than 4, false, it comes out of the loop. In this format, you can print all the elements of an array by making use of a while loop. So next we have to think of using do while loop. How we can work with do while loop? Yes, in the similar fashion, only one changes, that is, see, do while condition we are putting here, less than count of days. Yes. Now what happens? Initially I is 0, it prints the 0th index element, Monday will be printed, I is incremented 1, 1 less than 4, yes, again it enters into the body of the loop and it prints the next element, Tuesday, I is incremented 2, 2 less than 4, true, again it enters into the loop and it prints the second index element, that is Wednesday, I gets incremented, then it is now 3, 3 less than 4, yes, it enters into the loop, I mean to say into the body of the loop, then it prints the element present in third index, that is Thursday. Now I gets incremented, it is now 4, 4 less than 4, false. What happens? It comes out of the loop. So now can you notice how you actually implemented using while loop? The same output we have got by making use of do while loop. So next we have to think of using for loop. Yes, how we have dealt with while and do while loop, in the same type we can work with for loop. How means for? So for has 3 expressions, is it right? So I is equal to 0, then here have to give the condition, so count of days, then I plus plus. Here have to give this echo days of ith index, then I want to print the next element in the next line, so make use of break, that's it. So now how it works? It begins from the 0th index, 0 is less than 4, yes, it enters into the body of the loop, it prints 0th index element, that is Monday. Now I gets incremented, it is now 1, 1 less than 4, yes, it enters into the body of the loop, it prints the first index element of an array, that is Tuesday, got printed, then I is incremented, it is now 2, 2 less than 4, true, it enters into the body of the loop, now it prints the second index element, that is Wednesday, got printed, then I is incremented, it is now 3, 3 less than 4, true, again it prints, I mean to say it enters into the body of the loop, then it prints the third index element, that is Thursday, got printed, then I is incremented, now it is 4, so 4 less than 4, false. So what happens? It comes out of the loop. So finally you can notice that all the elements of an array has been printed successfully. So this is how, after defining an array, you can make use of different types of loops in order to print them on the screen. So far I have discussed to define an array just by specifying an values for an array, not by specifying a keys. Now let me take up an example how actually explicitly we can give a keys for a array elements. For example, $days equals array I am specifying the keys in this way. For Monday, the key is 0. See how we are supposed to define. Like this. So we are specifying the keys explicitly for an array elements in this fashion. This is key and this is value. So what happened here? The key is integer and it is beginning from the 0. Okay. So now let me take up another example in this fashion, that is array where key is Monday and the value is 40. What happened? Always you have to understand that this part, when you consider this operator, the left part will be, it can be of any type of value, but it is a key part and this is the value part. So now key is string and value is integer. Okay. So then let me continue the example here. So Tuesday 47, then Wednesday 10, some value. Okay. Now so now what happens? You can notice that the key is string and the value is integer. How to print it on the screen? Echo, then echo days of 1. When I consider this array, if I want to print some elements of an array means, how do I access? Echo days of 1. So what is the, in index, I mean to say in key 1, what is the value associated with it? Tuesday. So it results Tuesday. Okay. So next let me go for this example. Echo forecast. So key, I will take Wednesday. So in Wednesday, what is the element associated? 10. The output is 10. Okay. Now you may observe that there is it is flexible for you to specify any keys and any values for an array, but it is not so simple. Why? Because when you consider an explicit keys for an array means, if you want to print them on the screen, in the sense if you want to access all the elements of an array, not like this, by making use of loops means, how do you access? I said you right, while I less than count of days, then you will print the elements of an array. In this case, I means it should always points to a key only, because through key only we can access the elements of an array. So I is 0, key is 0, key is 1, key is 2. Yes, it can works. Assume I will change in this fashion 10. This is 21. 10, 1 and 21. Can I define an array in this way? Yes, it is possible. You can do. I told you that you should not give 1.5 or 2.5 like that as key. Is it right? But you can give any elements as a key. This is also possible. So when you consider this example, if I say in this way, does it works? No, right? So that's what I said, that this is not very simple as you understand. What you have to do when coming to this point also, this is integer, okay, you may work any by a few types, but when you consider this example, this is string, keys are string here. So can you work with this logic? No. So in those cases we are supposed to make use of for each. So for each, what it does means, it takes the first element, it accesses the first elements of an array, it prints, then it goes to fetch the second element of an array. So here we are not specifying any index at all. For example, for each, you have to take this forecast has value. Okay, what happens? This is an array name. What it indicates? Take the first element of an array and store it in this variable. So the first element is 40 and it is C. Through key you are accessing. The value is 40. You have to print it on the screen. So how do you print? Echo value stored in 40 is stored in variable value. So now print value dot break. See what it outputs now? It outputs 40. Then this is for each. What happens? It fetches the second element of an array that is stored in value. Next value gets printed, that is 47. Again it fetches the next element of an array and store it in the variable called value. So that is 10. So 10 gets printed on the screen. Then no more elements are there in an array. So finally it comes out of the loop. So this is what for you can make use of for each whenever you are defining an array with explicit keys. So here what you can notice means you are just accessing the values of an array. Not only values, you can also access keys associated with that array. So how means? In this fashion, echo days dot dollar key equals dollar value dot break. Yes. Now what has happened here? For each, what it does, from this array it takes the first key, that is Monday, and its value is 40. So then it enters here and prints some message days. So what is key? Monday. This is message equals is printed. Then what is value? 40. So it outputs, I will write here, days Monday equals 40. Got it? So then it fetches the next element, that is key is Tuesday and value is 47. So what it outputs? Days Tuesday equals 47. Then again it fetches the next element, that is Wednesday, whose value is 10. So what it prints? Days Wednesday equals 10. So then it goes in here and it has no elements. Finally it comes out of the loop. So you can notice how actually we get the output when we make use of for each with respect to keys and values. So now when we are specifying or when we are defining an array in this fashion, so where string key is string and value is integer type, means we cannot go for making use of while, do while or for loop. Okay, so hence we can say that this array can be called as associated array because keys and values are associated here. Okay, so coming back to the same example, that is days, where value is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. So how actually the array is represented? I will write here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Since while defining an array I have not specified keys explicitly, so what happens? By default the keys will be 0, 1, 2, 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I want to add next element to an array, one more element to an array. So how do I add? I can add in this way, days. So what is the index? Next index to be 4, there I will add Friday. So what happens? Friday will be, the next element will be added to the end of the array. So what I have done here, I have specified the index. In that index the value has to be stored. So not only this approach, you can also go for another approach, that is assume array has only these many four elements. I want to add next element. So here see days, I am not specifying any index, simply I will give the element. Whereas in this example I have specified in this index this value has to be stored. But in alternative approach I am not specifying any index, it is empty, simply I am passing the element. What happens? Still that element Friday will be stored to the end of the array. So this difference you have to understand here. So next is about, you can notice the array. Actually array index begins from 0 and it is ending to 4. Key is 4. Next, see here, next approach is days, index 7, I am giving Sunday. So what has happened? Or index 6 I will give Sunday. So what happens here? I will just continue here 6 and 7, sorry 5 and 6. Since you are explicitly specifying this element has to be stored in this respective index. So finally Sunday is stored in 6th index, not in 5th index, because you have specified the index explicitly. So what has happened? You have skipped one block of memory, in the sense you have created a gap. The gap has been created here. So when you make use of when you have created a gap while printing the array elements, what happens? What happens? Assume, say for example, echo days of 2. What it outputs? Wednesday. Okay. If I give days of 1, it prints Tuesday. But if I say to print days of 5 months, what happens? There is no element. So by that time it doesn't lead to error, it just outputs null, indicating that there is no element in that index. So this is how, even though we have created a gap in an array, we can still work with even though we have created a gap in an array, still it works good, it holds good. That's why I said that PHP arrays are quite different from that of different programming languages arrays. So PHP arrays works in the similar fashion of different programming languages array. Also, it combines the features of vectors, hash tables, dictionaries and so on. So this is an example where you are noticing that you are trying to insert an element to an array where you are creating a gap, still it is working good. Next, let us try in the another possibility, that is deletion. In the sense, by deleting an array element, let us create an gap. So how it works? Let us see that. For example, let me take this array only. Okay, what I will do? In order to delete an array, in order to delete an element from an array, we have to make use of unset. So unset. So here you have to specify an array and also its index. So what happened here? Unset means it deletes an element from an array. Which array? Days array. Which index element has to be deleted? You have to specify 2. So finally, this element gets deleted. So what has happened? You have created a gap now. Okay. So how to print? So let me take up an example, that is, call a function called print r to print the elements of an array. So what it outputs now means, in 0th index Monday, then in 1st index Tuesday, then in 3rd index Thursday, then in 4th index Friday. So in this fashion it outputs. The second key is missing since it has been deleted from an array. Now if I call in with respect to values, that is $days equals array values. In the sense, you are not, when you take up array values property means it only concentrate on the values of an array, not with respect to keys. Now let me call a function print r to print the content of an array. So what it outputs? In 0th index Monday, 1st index Tuesday, 2nd index Thursday, 3rd index Friday. Is there a difference here? Is there a difference between this output and this output? Yes. So here it is working with respect to key and here it is working with respect to values. Okay. When you call this function, it goes for searching the keys. When you use array values, it just concentrate on the values. So this is the output. Now there is one more property to check whether the value exists or not. Checking if a value exists. So how? Using a function called isSet. So what it does, it checks whether the value exists in this key. So how? This is days array. I am specifying the key as 1. What happens here? Does the value exist in this key 1? Yes. So it prints value is Tuesday. So this is what you have to understand here. There is a property or a function called isSet where it takes array index as a parameter and it checks whether the value exists or not in that key. Next is about array sorting. Array sorting in the sense which is used to sort the elements of an array. So how to call? Sort. Which array you want to sort? Days array. So when you call the function in this way to sort the elements of an array days means these elements get sorted. So finally the output is in 0th index. Sort means since the elements of an array or string, it will be alphabetically sorted. Okay. Now in 0th index Friday comes, then in first index what happens? Monday, then in second index Thursday, third index Tuesday, and in fourth index Wednesday. So this is the output. It results when you sort the array days. You can notice that for key 0 the value is Monday. For always the keys and values are associated with each other. When you call sort to sort an elements of an array means it mismatches. Since sort function only sorts the elements of an array, not with respect to keys. So for that case, because of that, you can notice that key remains same, but only the element gets sorted and Friday. But for Friday, the key is 4. For key 0, the element is Monday. It has been varying. So this is the result where it is not actually correct. So if this is the case, there is no benefit at all. Keys are different and the values are different. They are not associated at all. So that's why it is better to make use of a sort. So what it does means it sorts the elements of an array with respect to its keys. How means when you call this, the output will be fourth one Friday, then 0 Monday, then 3 Thursday, then 1 Tuesday, then 2 Wednesday. So when you call a sort, this will be the output. Now let us check. Friday, yes, its key is 4, it is printing. Monday, yes, its key is 0. Now it has been corrected. So this is all about how to make use of a sort to sort the elements with respect to keys. is about multi-dimensional array. So multi-dimensional array means two-dimensional array. Okay. So how to define a two-dimensional array? Let me take the array name is month array. Okay. So here I will open here array Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, comma, array Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, comma, array Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then I will close this array. Finally, I will put semicolon. See, can you notice how I have created a multi-dimensional array? The array name is month and how many rows it has? 3 rows. How many columns it has? 3 columns. So, this is how the given multi-dimensional array can be represented. This is row 0, 1, 2 and here 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, here also Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. So, when you define an array in this format, finally it can be represented in this fashion. Now you can notice that why I have written these keys again and again in each of the rows, because as I said that keys are associated with the elements of an array. Even though this is same, still that can be differing in different examples. So, for that purpose, in order to make it clear, I have represented the keys for each values of an array. For example, if I want to access one element of an multi-dimensional array means, I will call in this fashion month what happens? This represent rows and this represent columns. So, in 0th row, second column, what is the element present? Wednesday. So, that results Wednesday. I will change now. First row, first column. So, what is the element found in first row, first column? Tuesday. This is how you can make use of a multi-dimensional array in PHP. Thank you all.